So here we are again. It looks like we've got enough questions for 2 more videos, and that's it, unless you go asking me more. But we'll get straight into it. Here we go. I loved following you in this race. Every time new videos came up, I'd rub my hands together and watch them several times over. My question is around mental preparation. How do you mentally train for such a monumental event? As I've mentioned before, the positive affirmations, that sort of thing, and YouTube videos, like reading inspirational books on other athletes. So not necessarily running, but like Michael Jordan, basketball, and boxers, and like that sort of thing. So just reading about how other athletes and that like prepare their mental strength, and not listening to the news, not like getting on social media, that sort of stuff. So limiting my time on social media because I didn't want to see what other people were saying or writing and that sort of thing. So although it might have looked like I was on social media, I actually love this scheduling posts, so that works well. Attracting positive people into my life as well. So just trying to, attract those positive vibes, keep those positive vibes. The positive people, having, really good people around me. So I think that's a really big one as well, because sometimes the person that's patting you on the back is trying to push you over. So that's probably the main things that, I was able to work on my mental strength, or how I could work on my mental strength. What did your long run, look like building up to the race? Did you go for time on feet or distance? Do you know what? My training this time around was shit. I'm quite embarrassed about it actually, because last year I trained my freaking ass off, which I suppose served as a pretty good base for this year. But so last year I would have gone for back-to-back long runs, that sort of thing. I remember one weekend I did, and the girls were with me, the Kelpies. We did 50k 4-hour rest, 50k 2-hour rest, and then a 30k, something like that. And I did the strength work, and I was very regimented in my training, very structured. So followed my training program really well. This time around, not at all. So I'm quite embarrassed to actually say that. But I did jump on a mountain bike, which I loved. Never thought I'd actually like mountain biking, but so I think the longest one I did was not even 30 Ks. I decided to set out a couple of weeks before the event to make sure I could actually bloody run, and done a loop of the mountains. I can still run the mountains, run the hills, that'll do. Mental strength was probably the biggest one I worked on this time. So did do a couple of runs, I suppose, which was time on feet, which was just, meandering through the bush. Oh dear. Did you go to any strength work? Did you go to do any strength work? Cross training. If so, what was your basic routine? Okay, so cross training, yes. Mountain biking, which I'm really, really enjoying. Actually hoping to do a few more events in mountain biking, so that should be fun. But strength work, yes. I do strength work, so I do use resistance bands and that sort of thing. I actually train people, like I'm a coach. So in the last few weeks, I actually did join in on their strength training that I was teaching them. So luckily I am a strong person, naturally anyway. So yeah, that helps. How do you recover? I know last year, like the first week after the event, I actually clocked up an 80k week. This time around, I did have a few days off. I'm back into training now, which is a week later, and back into full training, which I'm absolutely loving, which is good. And yeah, but I eat healthy. I try and drink, regularly, that sort of thing. As I said, I'm not a big supplement taker, that sort of stuff. But yeah, so just trying to, like look after myself, basically, just eat healthy, which basically is, food that's not processed. Yeah. Oh, how'd you get into running? I gave up smoking. I found I couldn't run and smoke at the same time. So even now, some days I wake up in a cold sweat because I can't find my bloody smokes, and it's like, fuck, I haven't smoked for 7 years. Oh, I might be 8. But anyway, yeah. My question is about the paces. Nice. Was Mel your only pacer? Did she run with you all the time or certain sections? So I had a fantastic team of really strong women, which I love dearly. And so Sally Lynch from Barefoot Inc., she was responsible for making sure that the crew or the pacers and that got to different sections and that on time and that sort of thing. So yeah, she's amazing. Melissa Kaslik, so she was a pacer through one section of the event for me, or a couple of sections, sorry. Geordie, the beautiful Geordie. Oh, I'm going to have to film Geordie running because it is just so joyful and wonderful to watch. She calls it a hippity hop, which is beautiful. And then Mel Hanlon. So Mel actually had the last 2 sections with me, and they're probably the worst 2 sections. Poor bugger. But yeah, so no, you don't have someone running with you all the way. So you're only allowed to have paces after a certain amount of time and through some of the sections of it. So yeah. In hindsight, would you change anything about your preparation? Yes, I would train. Yeah, I really wished I had trained properly. So I'm just lucky that, I recovered really well. Because I used to joke that, I'd been tapering for 12 months, and which wasn't far from the truth, actually. What was the most valuable part of your preparation? Definitely my mental preparation, because it's pretty much all I actually worked on. Will you put the run on Strava? No. I didn't even start my watch. So I've got this wonderful Sunto, which tells the time. I don't use it to its full potential. As I said, I'm not driven by Strava or anything like that. Half the time I can't remember to start the watch. But no, it won't be on Strava. Do you think your time will stand for long? That's an interesting question. The one thing I actually love about this event is the guys are actually going to be changing it every year. So it's not going to be the same course. So there is no course record, which I think is a great concept. And the other thing I like is not everybody gets a finishing medal. So although I don't mind, like a bit of bling, but yeah, that thing there, mate, not everyone's got one. So yeah. How does anyone know about this one? Apparently you gave a thumbs down when an extra hour cutoff was added to the checkpoint. When that section was changed, why did you give it a thumbs down? Do you know what? I gave it a thumbs down because I was a bit worried that the boys were giving, and it's a bit presumptuous of me, giving me an extra hour to get through that checkpoint. But no, it turns out it didn't do it for me. But what I did want to do was prove to them I could get through that without the extra hour. So, yeah. And I did. Oh, dear. Oh, how do you manage your checkpoints? Ooh. Do you allocate yourself a certain amount of time to each one? How do you manage your checkpoints? How do you manage your checkpoints? And I didn't allocate myself a certain amount of time. I just wanted to be as efficient as possible to get through them. So, yeah, and that was pretty well it, really. So, in the beginning was, just getting through them as quickly as possible, efficiently as possible. And, that was basically it. So, yeah, and just being really, really well organized. So, you know, like what I thought I might need at that particular checkpoint. What was your longest distance or time did you train to get to the race? Do you know what? This is actually really embarrassing. So yeah, I only done like it wasn't even quite a 30k long run. Yeah, no, I'm really embarrassed about that. So yeah, no, sorry. Last year I did a 130k long run. This year I did a 30. It wasn't even 30. Yeah, not good. Okay. My only question is, and I'm more curious on this, how long is your recovery after a race? Oh, and what do you do to recover? I gave myself a few days off this year. But yeah, I'm back into training now. So I gave myself, what was it, 6 days or something like that? But yeah, no, back into training now. I feel fine. So yeah, I figured why not? But like I wouldn't, you know, like if I didn't feel fine, I would have taken extra time. So I wasn't going to rush myself because, yeah, I've got another event that I'm really keen to smash out. And I didn't want to go, you know, jeopardizing my chances in that one. So yeah. Curious? Oh, do you know what? This next one here is about my gear. So I'm going to leave that one. And that way I can actually show you a bit more about what sort of gear, there's some there, I wear and yeah, and why. So, okay, we'll leave it there. And I think the next one might be the last. So anyway, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'm thinking I might do some like strength exercises and stuff, you know, like, and just show you a little bit more about what I actually do. Yeah, a bit of my training program and that sort of thing. So once these videos for Down Under have finished. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.